Hey there, Brooke from Health Coach Army. Today we're going to go through the chip options that we have in Australia. I went down to the supermarket and grabbed some options there, huge ranges, and I get it. These are a quick snack for the kids, quick to put in the lunch boxes and things like that. But there are things to look out for and to steer clear from when you're selecting the chips for your kids. Now, so I went to the supermarket and grabbed a selection, and then also to my local health food store. And let's start first up, Smith's pack of mix. And so in here I've got burger rings, Cheetos, Twisties, salt and vinegar and original chips. Now on the side here we've got the nutritional panel, and the important thing when you're shopping and looking for things to feed your family, to nourish your family, is to look at the ingredients. The nutritional panel looking at carbohydrates, proteins and fats is like, it doesn't tell you what's actually in it. And rule of thumb is to steer clear of anything that has numbers and anything that has an ingredient that you don't know what it is, and really go for those foods that have the smaller ingredient list. Ideally we'll all be eating fresh food, but the reality is we do need to be able to choose the better options when we want something quick and easy. So let's have a look. The original chips in here, so plain chips, potatoes, vegetable oil, which is sunflower, canola and salt. So out of all of these, it has a really small list of ingredients. So the potato plain salt chips, which are these ones. Next up we've got salt and vinegar. Boom. Salt and vinegar has, look, I always go straight to the end because the end's where the chemicals hide out, and I see natural flavours, which I've talked about natural flavours in the past. Michael Pollan talks about this in his Omnivore's Dilemma. The food guidelines say we can put natural flavours on it, but most of the time these natural flavours are naturally derived but have been chemically changed, so are no longer natural, even though we can put natural flavours on the list. So natural flavours I steer clear of. These have dextrose in it, so when we get into the flavours, there's usually things in there that we don't really want. Dextrose, no thank you. Flavour enhancer 621, so 621 is MSG, monosodium glutamate, and monosodium glutamate has been in the news a lot in the past about the people's adverse reactions to it. It's a chemical flavour enhancer, and a lot of brands have stopped putting MSG on there and just put flavour enhancer 621. So you want to be looking out for that number. 621, do not have it. Especially, there's been studies that show 30% of people have adverse reactions. Really terrible to include this in a regular diet and to be feeding to kids. These are kids snack size packs. Steer clear of anything that has 621. Go back up from there. It's got the potatoes in there, and we know that chips are made with oil, so sunflower, canola oil, and I'll talk about the different oils of what to avoid if you can. It has lactose milk. We don't really need to be adding milk to chips, so salt and vinegar, steer clear of out of these selection here. What's up next? Cheese and bacon balls. Like, this just screams to me in the beginning that this is going to be full of flavour. So I go straight to the end. Hydrolyzed vegetable protein, not too much of a fan. Maltodextrin, which is a sugar, no thank you. Natural colours again. It is flavoured with, it just says flavours, so what are those flavours? Because I don't know what they are, I avoid these things. If you go to the middle of this list of ingredients, it has 621 again, monosodium glutamate in here. That flavour enhancer allergen that really shouldn't be fed to families, shouldn't be fed to kids, in cheese and bacon balls. No thank you. And then we go into how it is, it's got cheese powder and whey powder and lots of flavours, definitely not natural. That to me, look at the package, look at what it is, I would say no thank you. Cheese and bacon balls. Alright, what's happening in this lucky dip? Burger rings. I remember burger rings as a kid. Burger rings you used to put on your fingers like cheesels. But I would say burger rings says flavoured snacks on the pack. I'm going to probably avoid it already, but let's have a look at the ingredients. Again, the last ingredient is colours and numbers, 110, 155, 102. I'm not even going to look these up. I have access to be able to see exactly what these are, but for you as a shopper, for us as everyday shoppers, when we go to the supermarket, we don't necessarily have access to see what it is. If you don't know what it is, do you know what 110, 155 and 102 is? If no, don't feed it to your kids. Again, monosodium glutamate is halfway through this list. That's MSG. It's got maltodextrin, which is a sugar based from corn. Where is this corn coming from? If it is imported, there's a huge risk of it being GMO. I'm not sure whether Smiths use GMO. Haven't been in contact with them, but unless the corn is specifically says Australian sourced, I would steer clear of any imported corn products. Hydrolyzed vegetable protein again is usually soy, and it is soy. It is in brackets, so that again, especially if it's imported, is usually GMO, genetically modified soy, and it's cheap ingredient to put inside this. That's why these packs are cheap. Huge thing I noticed at the supermarket was how cheap are these flavoured products. They're so cheap. So I get the temptation of buying them, but if you save now on buying these products, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to save in the long term, because it affects your health, it affects your family's health, and then you're going to end up paying for it in healthcare. So next up, Lucky Dip, Twisties, cheese Twisties. I'm going to say these are flavoured too. Let's go for it. Going to the end, food acid, milk powder in there again, cream powder. Dairy products for kids, I'm not a huge fan of, especially when they're not organic. I don't see why they need to be in a pack of chips. These ingredients go in there to make them cheapen and nasty, really. Salt hydrolyzed vegetable protein, which is usually soy. It has flavour. It again has monosodium glutamate in Twisties. 621. This flavour enhancer is hiding everywhere. Avoid it. It's made with corn and rice and vegetable oil. That's the selections, the 5 different options in this multi-snack pack. Next up, Grain Waves. Now these have been marketed as being, a healthier option, as 30% less fat is what it says on the pack. So we're looking at the fat now. But the thing with the fat is you really want to be looking at what oils these chips are made in. With the Smith's Lucky Dip, though it just says vegetable oil, we don't know, and it says sunflower and or canola oil. The problem with these oils is, especially canola, there's a lot of genetically modified canola, and in Australia, it's one of the crops that is approved to be GMO. And so that's a whole problem in itself in terms of genetically modified ingredients. But these oils, when heated, when make these chips go rancid, they are carcinogenic oils. So again, giving these products to kids are not ideal. So I would be avoiding the oils that aren't meant to be heated, and especially oils that usually are GMO, like canola. So Grain Waves are again marketed as being healthier for you because they are 30% less fat. When we look at the ingredient list, and this, what have I got here? This is sour cream and chives. It was the only one that they had at this local supermarket. My local supermarket is quite small, so these would be on offer everywhere. Now these ingredients has a natural colour, which is paprika extract, which is good. Herb, natural flavours from soy, that's not the best option. It does have maltodextrin and sugar in it, so again you're going to increase the sugar that you're giving to your kids. The whole grain cereals are corn, wheat and oats, and vegetable oil doesn't state what the vegetable oil is. But all in all, there's no MSG in here, so this is, and in comparison to the Smith's Lucky Dip, this is a much better option out of what I've gone through so far. 63% of it comes from grains, which is where Grain Waves' big pitch is, that you're getting the whole grains. But again, it comes from corn and wheat. Where is this corn and wheat coming from? We don't actually say. With the new guidelines in Australia, which are coming out in July, we are going to be able to see where the ingredients are sourced. So it'll say on packets if the ingredient is actually from Australia, and then you're a bit safer with what you're choosing, because we have better regulations in Australia in terms of genetically modified and how our agriculture works. So corn, if imported, is usually GMO, but I can't see anywhere here. it doesn't specify that it's Australian corn. That's the Grain Waves. Next up, now this is cheap, cheap, cheap. 10 packs of popcorn for $3 at Coles. So 30 cents a popcorn, so a pack, which I get, it's cheap for the family. Let's have a look and see what's in it. So we've got the ingredients is popcorn, vegetable oil and salt. So yes, there are less ingredients in this, and so in terms of this product compared to the Smith's flavoured Lucky Dips and even the Grain Wave, I would opt for these from the supermarket. My main concern with these is, again, where is the corn coming from? I cannot see. It says made in Australia. But it doesn't say if the ingredients are Australian sourced. And it's 75% grains, which means there's about 25% oil. It just says vegetable oil. Not sure what the vegetable oil is. Because these are quite cheap, even though they're cheap and they are a better option other than the Smiths, I would say the vegetable oil is a cheap option oil. And then salt, I'd love to be able to see it say sea salt, which is much better. It doesn't drain your body of minerals. But you know, all in all, better than the Smith's Lucky Dips and even the Grain Wave because of less ingredients. Now, from the health food store, I grabbed some Cobb's popcorn, and you can get Cobb's from the supermarket, and they do multi-packs for kids, so there's smaller packs for them to be able to go to the, you know, for school lunch boxes and things like that. There's two different ranges in Cobb's, so just have a look between the two different packaging. This one here is organic popcorn, so the corn is actually organic, and there are other range which is packaged differently. It's like blue, the salt is blue and yellow packaging. Is Australian sourced corn, but not organic, but it's Australian sourced, and they're the ones you get from the supermarket in the mini packs. These are a little bit more expensive than $3 for 10 packs, but not that much more, and much better for you. So this particular one from the health food store, you know, you could buy, they come in smaller packs but not mini packs for kids. You could buy a big pack and put them in little Ziploc packs or little paper bags for the kids, and the ingredients are organic popcorn 80%, organic sunflower oil, high oleic, which means it's okay underheated, so it's a better option, oil and sea salt. So the kids are getting, and we're getting the minerals from the sea salt. It's organic popcorn, we know it's good. It's Australian made, this is an Australian company. If you were to buy the mini packs, it's Australian sourced corn, so we know there's no GMO corn in Australia. They use the same oil and sea salt as well. They do come in some flavoured ones. There's a sweet popcorn which has a bit of sugar in there, and also a cheese flavoured ones, which they all come in the mini. But all in all, definitely best to opt for the Cobb's popcorn if you can. If you want the mini packs from the supermarket, they're better than anything else on offer, and otherwise hit the health food store for the organic and put them in small bags yourself. Now one last one, this one's been half eaten by my son. This is from the health food store as well. Now this is Thomas Chipman is the brand, Thomas Chipman. These guys are not an Australian brand, but you'll see them around a bit more now. Thomas Dux has started stocking them. Health food stores have got a range. They have sweet potato chips and beetroot chips and corn chips, and they are an American brand, and they are certified organic. They're still Australian certified organic under our certification guidelines. This one here is blue corn and quinoa. So we have, it's 70% blue corn, organic blue corn. So we know it's organic, especially if something's coming from the US. Always be cautious of corn. It needs to be certified organic, and ideally have the Australian certification on there. Organic sustainable palm olein oil. So when we're looking at palm oil, there is ethical problems around palm oil and also health problems around palm oil. So you want to be always looking for organic and also sustainable or ethical or fair trade when it comes to palm oil. Organic quinoa Again, that's an organic grain which has got a lot of benefits. Really, once it's high heated for a chip, a lot of the benefits are gone, but we're looking at things that aren't necessarily negative for our health. So things that are still okay to quickly have a snack or to make a snack up for the kids, but aren't going to be detrimental. And then sea salt. Again, we're getting the minerals from the sea salt, so much better than table salt. Anything with table salt, avoid. Okay, so that's all I've got. So you know what, out of these, all the options that I grabbed quickly today, there's obviously more, and there's definitely the other kids popcorn brand that's out there that has Manuka honey flavoured, and they come in little packs as well. They're a great option. But I just like my local stores are quite small, so these things you would find at most supermarkets or small health food stores. So out of all of these, look, with the Smith's Lucky Dip, all these options I had in here. Zoom camera. I would only ever, if forced, opt for the plain salt out of those. So you can get just plain salt multi-packs for the small. Brainwaves, better than the flavoured options from the Smiths, and there's more brands like the Thin and Crispy and all of those, and just look out for these things. Look out for natural flavours, numbers that you don't know, 621, flavour enhancer, even like hydrolyzed soy protein. You don't need that in a chip. Go for things that you know what it is. Potatoes, oils, organic corns, sea salts, like things you understand what it is, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can imagine a company actually putting those ingredients in, rather than imagine it in a lab with chemists putting in chemicals and numbers in there, because numbers don't come from the ground. This Cool Pack popcorn, cheap, 10-pack, okay, it's cheap, but not enough information on here for me. Where's the corn coming from? Where's the oil? What oil is it, and what salt is it? Cobs, mini packs, good option for kids. Organic, make your own mini packs, great option for kids. And Thomas Chipman, make your own mini packs for kids, good option. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if there's anything you would like me to review, and see you next time on Health Coach Army TV.